Damini Grover or as I'm Powered, the endeavor is to enhance the well-being of individuals at the both physical, emotional, as well as the spiritual level. Actually, work that I do with my clients would be one-on-one therapy. So counseling and helping them to deal with their lifestyle concerns, their emotional and behavioral concerns. Along with that, I also provide emotional intelligence coaching. I'm also a psychogeometrics trainer, personality development, improving communication through workshops, through webinars. I also take corporate trainings.
And powered derives from the fundamental concept that we all have a basic power, the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way. Now, there's a beautiful someone on our show today. Hello and welcome to Rashi Foundation. Damini Grover, founder of I'm Powered, a counselor, hypnotherapist by profession, and a writer, poet, dancer, and a fitness enthusiast by heart. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. To start with, tell us about brand Damini Grover and brand I'm Powered.
So I am just a regular human being, who's trying to make the most of my life experiences and the learnings that I have got. And I think that's what my brand basically stands for. In the capacity of a psychologist, a counselor, or a hypnotherapist, even the facilitation activities that I do, workshops that I hold, the message that I'm trying to get across is that we can all learn so much from our own life experiences, and wisdom is all around. My intention basically is to contribute into people's lives in some way or the other, which is why I think I always believe that I was destined to be a psychologist or, be in the helping field, because every time I tried to move away, do something different, I always found myself coming back here. I came up with the name I'm Powered because I thought that, and it still is a fundamental belief that I live by, that all of us have the basic capacity, the ability to, create something meaningful in our lives, to create a meaningful life for ourselves. So if you look at the name that I have, it says I'm powered to explore, resolve, and change, and become better than what I am today. So all of us basically have the power, whether you call it willpower, whether you call it a gut instinct or a drive, motivation, jo bhi aap kahein. But we have all of that, which helps us to explore what is going on within us and around us, to resolve whatever it is that is not working, and then to bring about meaningful changes that can help us to move in some, positive direction, or a direction that is more suited to our overall well-being. And as a big believer of growth and balance and well-being, this is what I aim to bring together as brand Damini Grover or as brand I'm Powered. Both are synonymous with well-being.
Now, that's a great role. I think all the Damini Grovers around the world are doing during the times of crisis. And I think that's totally wonderful, Damini. What inspired you to begin with this, since you just mentioned that you've tried many other roles, but you got back to, counseling and helping people. And what is the exact mission of this venture? Over to you.
So for me, when I decided to go into this full time, as I mentioned, I had tried a lot of things. I was a dabbler before I said to myself that, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time. And this is what I'm going to give my creative energies to. When that happened, it was, like a spark in me, or something clicked in me that told me that, this is it. Ab yahi karna hai, because when I interact with people, when I'm able to create some shift, even if it's a small shift in their understanding, in their emotional space, to me, it feels like I have done something meaningful. So when people come back to me and they tell me that, whether it's my friends or whether it's the clients that I work with, when they tell me that I have been able to, facilitate some constructive change for them, and they've been able to move out of a space that they were struggling with, to me, that is fulfilling. For me, we are all connected in some way or the other. And, if my understanding, my experience, my wisdom, if this can help you in any way, I think at this point in time, there is nothing bigger than that. If we can make our collective reality a very conscious one and a very meaningful one, I think that's the aim, that's the objective that I am pursuing somewhere.
In-depth knowledge of a subject can get you some great work in this life. Damini, what are the different services and treatments and Power offer?
So, Rashi, with the aim of contributing to people's lives in some meaningful way, I have a couple of things that I have trained myself in, and I use that knowledge in different ways to reach out to people or to, facilitate their journey in whatever way possible. So, my basic degree is in psychology, so I'm a counseling psychologist, and along with that, I follow an eclectic approach to working. So for me, it's like, jitna knowledge mile, utna kam hai. Because we all need help in different ways, and you never know what might click with someone. So in that capacity, I use a lot of, let's say, modalities like, for example, hypnotherapy is one. And then I use a lot of emotional intelligence based work as well. A lot of different therapeutic modalities like ACT, DBT, these are all the names that float around in the therapy world. And the concerns that I primarily help clients with would be anxiety, depression, relationship issues, family issues, if they're not being able to adjust somewhere, if there is any trauma that they are dealing with, they need help to cope with. So my work basically one-on-one centers around these kind of issues. And then I also host a range of workshops and webinars. Some of them are, of course, independent ventures. Some of them are for corporates. And those basically center around personal development, self-development. So, topics like emotional intelligence, how to become more emotionally intelligent or emotionally aware, how to understand our own personality styles, understand how we can communicate better with people, how to become more assertive. So a lot of self-help and personal development related work is what I focus on. And that also stems from my belief that all change begins from within. So if the more aware we can become of our own strengths, our own abilities, we in turn help ourselves to create a more meaningful life for ourselves. Because everything changes always inside out.
That's absolutely wonderful, Damini. I would want you to elaborate more on PsychoGeometrics. That is one service you offer.
So, in my endeavor to learn more and grow more and offer more services that can facilitate people's growth, I came across something called as Psychogeometrics, and I was so intrigued and in love with it that I got myself facilitated as a trainer. There are very few trainers in India who offer this service, and it's very, very interesting because everybody wants to know about themselves. They want to know what their personality type is, right? We often go on Google and we take these different personality assessments to know what our strengths are, what our abilities are, what are the areas of improvement. So psychogeometrics is really, it's an art and it's a science of understanding human personality and human behavior and how personalities communicate with each other. So if I explain it very simply, it's almost like shape psychology. But it basically combines how people's personality and their brain styles, how they combine to create a unique communication system that we all follow. Like in psychogeometrics, you would be a certain shape and I would be a combination of certain shapes. And if we understand that what that shape really means, what are the strengths, what are the capabilities and areas of improvement that it comes with, we can learn to facilitate a better communication style with each other. And it is such a powerful tool because not only can corporates make use of it, and corporates love these kind of assessments, and it is my endeavor to actually open it up to the general public as well, because you and I would definitely want to know about what our personality style is, what shape do we fit into, what are the strengths that come with it. Right? How can I tailor my communication style so that I can understand you better and you can understand me better? If we can get this understanding in place, so many conflicts would get resolved. Our entire style of communication at home, with in between spouses, with our children, with our friends, colleagues, everything would improve tremendously. And again, I'm going to say that awareness is the key. So once we understand ourselves, once we take that first step, we can automatically, naturally extend that understanding to other people as well.
So much of good work at that young age. I think that is totally commendable. Okay, tell us about what is your success mantra? How are you managing so many things together?
I really wish, I had a straight answer to this question that what is my success mantra. But I think there's one thing that I truly believe in. There are two things actually. One is self development. Because you've seen that how every time I talk, I'm talking about self-awareness and how change begins from inside out. So really strong believer in that. So one would be self-development, because that's what I keep doing for myself as well. That's how I keep trying to sort of upgrade the scale for myself as well, enhance my skills and my knowledge, so that I can contribute more and more and not stay stuck at one level. So that would be one. And the other thing would be hard work. I think I've always been a very hardworking person right from the beginning, completing all tasks in time, making sure that I'm giving it my best. Even if I would struggle with something, I would make sure that at least I'm putting in, my best foot forward, so that at least I can tell myself that, I did the best that I could.
This is beautiful self-realization, and I think this is totally wonderful how you're putting it across, Damini. COVID is around. What would you suggest a healing treatment for people who've been suffering? And it would be kind of you to share a case study with us.
So, COVID has created, of course, a lot of mental health difficulties, along with a global health crisis. And it's also created a mental health crisis, not just for the general public, but even for frontline workers. Everybody is under the radar because of this. And I think for people who have got COVID or who have recovered from COVID, it's very, very essential. It's very essential now that we pay attention to our mental health. And even post recovery, like people are experiencing issues like anxiety. There's a looming feeling of doom, or there's a constant worry as to what is going to happen, and the mind is constantly coming up with negative scenarios, even when people have got over it, like it's over and done for them, but everybody knows that the threat is not over, and we don't know when it's going to be over. So there's a general feeling of anxiety that has crept in. And along with that, there is a sense of helplessness, hopelessness. So people are falling into depression as well, because it's a health crisis, it's a mental health crisis, there's a financial crisis as well. And with so much uncertainty, there's a lot that people are grappling with. I'm currently working with a couple of young people, just in their early 20s, and their anxiety level is just too much. Like they are getting into panic attacks, and they feel that just a basic daily routine is too much for them to handle. And there is so much of worry about literally everything, that this has not been sanitized properly, that has not been sanitized. They don't want their parents to step out. They don't want to step out of the house, because in case something happens to them, then they might transfer the infection to their parents as well. And they definitely don't want their parents to fall sick. And if there has been a COVID scare in the house earlier, then the anxiety is double. It's not that the anxiety has gone down, that okay, ab COVID ho gaya, तो अब दोबारा नहीं होगा, या हम कुछ महीनों के लिए रेस्ट ले सकते हैं. It doesn't settle down. It just comes up with more force कि ये दोबारा भी हो सकता है. And what if it becomes more severe than the first time? So, for instance, hypnotherapy is one modality that I would use, when I'm working with clients, because one, it is based on the principles of relaxation. So it just helps individuals to calm down, to relax, and then it also facilitates a training of the mind and body into that relaxation. So they can carry on this practice at home also, once they've learned how all of this works. They can use the basic principles of relaxation at home. And then we work on the deeper fears and anxieties with this modality. So that's one way of, working with them. And I have been doing this work with a couple of them. Then there is the other side, which is very depressed, or they feel hopeless, and, they feel helpless, and they feel that there is no point in doing anything. Their achievements or their hard work doesn't really matter, because there is so much of death all around. Life has lost its meaning. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So then there is the other side of it, which the other part of mind which wants to give up. Once again, the work centers around, for all of us, is again to find meaning in the adversity.
Times have been gloomy. We know that. Times have been painful. We also know that. But now is the time to bounce back, get back to your real self once again, and get prepared for a better future. So get in touch with Damini Grover. in case you have any of your aspects to be treated and healed. I think she will be glad to help you. Her details are available in the feed.